When this trade first dropped, I had that mix of excitement and confusion that we've all felt way too many times over the past few seasons. You see the headlines, you see the big name everyone's talking about, and you think, okay, I get it. But then you look closer, and you realize there's something else there. Something people aren't really paying attention to. And if you've followed this team long enough, you know that sometimes the guy nobody's talking about ends up being the one we're screaming about in August. That's why this situation actually matters. Because this front office didn't just make a move for now. They might have quietly grabbed someone who could sneak up on everybody. And when you hear what was said behind the scenes about this third piece, it changes how you look at the whole deal. Trust me, there's more here than most fans realize. Before we break it all down, do me a quick favor. If you're a real Red Sox fan who rides through the ups and downs like the rest of us, hit that like button and subscribe. Red Sox Today is brand new. We're pushing toward our first 1,000 subscribers, and this is the place for honest Sox talk. Alright, so now let's really dig into this. When the Red Sox pulled off that trade with the Milwaukee Brewers, most of the attention went straight to Caleb Durbin. And I get it. Middle infielder, energy guy, upside, that's the kind of piece fans latch on to immediately. But here's the thing. There were 6 players involved in this deal. 6. And every single one of them was already on a 40-man roster. That matters. Because when you trade for guys already on the 40-man, you're not just adding organizational depth, you're adding players who are legitimately in the mix. From Boston's side, they brought in 3 players who are, at least theoretically, competing for spots when the season opens in Cincinnati. That's not random. That's intentional roster construction. And then there's the third piece from Boston's perspective. Anthony Sigler. Most fans kind of brushed him aside. A throw-in, a depth catcher, a minor league body. But if you actually listen to what Craig Breslow said about him, it tells a completely different story. Breslow didn't talk about him like filler. He talked about him like a calculated target. He specifically highlighted that Sigler is a left-handed bat who can hit right-handed pitching, and we all know how valuable that is in today's game. He emphasized that Sigler is coming off a really strong AAA season, and maybe most importantly, he pointed out that Sigler hasn't really gotten an extended look in the big leagues to prove what he can be. That's not accidental praise. That's a front office guy saying, we see something here. And here's what makes it even more interesting. Sigler was a first-round pick, not some random lottery ticket. The New York Yankees took him in the first round back in 2018. That's pedigree. That's draft capital. Teams don't forget that. Now yeah, he's 7 years and 451 games into his minor league career. That sounds like a lot. And some fans hear that and think, okay, if he was going to be something, he would have been something already. But development isn't linear, especially for guys who got hit by the 2020 pandemic shutdown, which stalled everyone's development, and especially for a player who had to transition positions. Sigler wasn't just refining one skill set. He had to move from being a primary catcher to playing infield. That's a massive adjustment. And last season in AAA, he put up 8 home runs and posted a 414 on-base percentage over 72 games. 414. That jumps off the page. This team has desperately needed guys who grind at bats, who get on base, who don't just swing out of their shoes. A left-handed bat with that kind of on-base skill, that fits a need, especially when you consider how streaky this lineup can be. And let's be real about something else. We've learned the hard way over the past few years that the guys who start the season in AAA are often the ones we end up relying on. Injuries happen. Underperformance happens. Plans change. So even if Sigler is ticketed for AAA to start the year, which is likely, that doesn't mean he's irrelevant. It might mean he's waiting for his opportunity. And here's the part I love as a Red Sox fan. He's a former Yankees first-round pick. And if there's one thing we've seen Boston do well recently, it's unlocking value from former Yankees prospects. Garrett Whitlock is the obvious example. Rule 5 pick, turned into a massive piece for this pitching staff. And Carlos Narvaez? Another guy who came through that pipeline and found success here. There's something deeply satisfying about that. Taking a player the Yankees once believed in, developing him in a different environment, and getting more out of him. So when Breslow talks about Sigler's pedigree and the season he just had and says it's pretty easy to get excited about him, I'm listening. Because Breslow isn't the type to hype nothing. He's analytical. He's calculated. If he's excited, there's data behind it. Now, does this mean Sigler is suddenly the next breakout star? No. Let's be fair. He still has to prove it. He still hasn't had that extended big league opportunity, and he still has to show he can translate AAA production to the majors. But the ingredients are there. Left-handed bat, on-base ability, positional flexibility between catcher and infield, former first-round pedigree, strong AAA season, 40-man roster spot. That's not a throw-in, that's a sleeper. And for a team that's trying to build sustainable depth, not just headline moves, this is exactly the kind of under-the-radar piece that can quietly matter. So what does this all mean for the Red Sox right now? It means this front office isn't just making flashy moves. They're taking calculated swings on upside. They're adding players who could surprise you. And honestly, that's what this roster needs. Competition, internal pressure, guys who are hungry because they haven't gotten their full shot yet. As fans, we've been frustrated. We've questioned direction. We've wondered whether this team is really building something or just treading water. Moves like this don't scream blockbuster, but sometimes they're the ones that age the best. If Sigler forces his way into the conversation this summer, we're going to look back at this trade very differently. And that's the thing about this moment for the Red Sox. The pressure is real. The expectations are real. The front office knows the fan base is watching every move. This isn't about just filling roster spots. It's about proving there's a plan. I'm cautiously excited about this one, not because it guarantees anything, but because it shows awareness. It shows they're hunting value. And if there's one thing we've learned watching baseball every single day, it's that value plays win seasons. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Anthony Sigler is just depth, or is he a legit sleeper in this Brewers deal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read all of them. And if you're into honest Red Sox talk, the good, the frustrating, and the hopeful, make sure you like the video and subscribe to Red Sox Today. We're still a brand new channel chasing that first 1,000 subscribers, and if you're a real Sox fan who wants real conversations, this is where you belong. Let's see where this thing goes.